All right, guys, welcome back to another Loan for Cards podcast. We have a super, I always say a special guest, but this one is a very special guest because he is very special. And, there's a movie that was based on his real life, and it's a real life story. And I'm not sure if you guys heard of it. Steve Carell is the main star of this movie. The movie is called 40-Year-Old Virgin. And so I want to introduce you to my buddy here, Doug. Doug, thanks for coming into the podcast.
Thanks for having me. What's going on, man?
Not much, man.
I thought you were gonna say the movie The Mask with Eric Stoltz was
Mass.
was about my life.
Okay, okay. But I think
Yeah,
40
I'm
year
pretty
old.
sure he was a virgin too.
I think the 40-year-old virgin is actually a little bit better because I don't know, because I don't know. It's sort of weird because so if you guys know, that's obviously a joke. But he does have kids, so yes, he did have sex. So we know that he's not really a virgin. So that's sort of proof. But we still don't know if he did or not. But like I grew up with this guy like back in the 90s, and um, he's a very very interesting dude. Like when I first met him, all I knew that he did was play what Tecmo Bowl. That was your game, right?
That was
Tecmo
my
Bowl,
game. Yeah,
Tecmo
that was
Bowl.
about it too.
Yeah, so he only played Tecmo Bowl, and all he did is eat hot pockets and tortinos. What is it called? Those pizzas, or the pizza rolls and stuff, right? Those are the only things that you ate.
Pizza rolls,
Yeah,
Totinos,
Totinos. Yeah,
two pizzas at a
two
time.
pizzas at a time. Like he would double stack them and eat them, and that's the only thing that he'll eat. Like his dad would just stock up the fridge with just frozen food, and that's how he eat. And I'm like, dude, this guy is like sits all day playing video games all day. And this remember we were like 15 years old or so, high school, and that's all he did, play Tecmo Bowl. And then like he, and I was very surprised at how fat he is. Not that the fat. I mean, technically, like his lifestyle. You would think if I told you like all he did is play Tecmo Bowl and eat pizza rolls and hot pockets, that you would think of imagine a big like really like a 350-pound guy. But back then he's actually was still pretty fit because the only other thing that he did is play basketball all the time. So I think the basketball sort of like neutralizes his health, his body weight, I guess. So I think that's why it was able to sustain that. But yeah, that's his life. And I first met him, I'm like, dude, this guy like has no life, like. But we had the same interest. We did like cards, sports cards collecting and things like that.
Well, I'm glad you mentioned that
Yep.
because when we actually first met, even though we went to middle school together,
Correct.
introduced by our mutual friend Oscar,
Mm-hmm.
and we came over to try to trade cards.
Oh
You
yeah.
accused me of stealing
Really?
from you.
That's true.
And I didn't, but you said you saw me. You
Yeah.
you bluffed and said I saw you do it.
Yeah.
I said, "What the fuck are you talking about?" Um, so who knew? That's the first thing.
That's true.
And
And the funny thing is that Oscar did come on this podcast. So people probably, if you guys didn't
oh,
see
okay,
that, you have to watch the Oscar podcast and sort of like mix the stories up because we have different stories between the three of us. It was me, Doug, and Oscar, the three amigos that we did some interesting, fun things. We mentioned before on the podcast when you and Oscar got caught stealing flowers at Payless. So we talked about that and how the police came and you got a ticket for that for all the nights that we were fooling around. That one night you guys got caught doing that. What was your thinking on that? Like how did you feel when that happened?
oh, it felt great. Nothing better than getting a ticket for stealing the flowers in front of Payless, I think it was at the
Yeah,
time.
yeah, it was called Payless.
Um, Thinking that hey, they leave it outside. I guess they're free for the taking. But the silver lining that happened was I didn't want to tell my dad about it, so got my got a job because of that. So he hooked me up at Trader Joe's, and because I got busted for stealing flowers is what got me into the workforce.
Oh, is that the reason why you actually got a job?
Yeah, because I was
Oh.
not going to ask my dad to pay for the ticket, or paid for it all by myself, and then my dad didn't know about it for a long time after that.
You know the funny thing about that of getting that ticket of how you paid for it? Like how would they know that So did you have to give him your information, like real information?
I guess we did. I don't think we were street savvy enough to just give them fake names
Because like
and addresses and
you didn't
stuff.
have a driver's license or any ID on you, so you could actually just give him a fake name and fake address and got away with it.
Maybe, unless we were driving. I think no.
No, you guys
So
were
we
walking. We're definitely walking. You're walking.
no, because the plan was for us to steal the flowers and just drive around and see a car full of girls and say, "Hey, we got some flowers. Let's hang out." So we were driving. Um, yeah, as a was it? You weren't there. It's just me and
No, no,
Oscar.
no, no. It was just you two because I was joining you guys before and we did it before, and then next thing I heard is like you guys told me about that. I'm like, what? You guys got caught doing that? So you guys did it at another day or another time that I wasn't around.
Yeah, I think we had this delusion that we were gonna like pull up to a red light, and next to us would be a car with two girls, one really hairy and another ginger, and it was just gonna be a perfect match. And we'd have our flowers ready, and hey, let's go to Taco Bell. Let's go to the drive-through, and hang out.
Wow.
And
So you guys were actually driving then. You guys actually drove.
yeah, I think that was the plan. We were looking to just drive around, and I don't know. Really, it was something to do on probably a Friday or Saturday night.
Okay.
And who knew that they had security actually
Oh.
guarding their plants and pots and stuff outside. So yeah, I'm gonna have to check out that podcast and see what Oscar had to
Yeah,
say about
yeah.
it.
It's a little bit a different story, like a different twist on the two. I mean, obviously, this was like years ago. So our memories could a little bit alter what we remember. So that's but it's funny that it did happen and you guys did get a ticket. But my question is like, especially for you, obviously you didn't drive because then Oscar's the one that drove because he had the car or he had the driver's license and you didn't have a license. So I'm just wondering how did you end up giving you your name and your address? I'm like maybe could have just made something up and they would have never known. You could just threw away the ticket and be like, okay, whatever.
Yeah, probably could have, but at 16, 17 years old, never really got in trouble too much before. Maybe a
No.
few minor shoplifting things that we used to do with cards or uh, occasional T-shirt or stuff like that. But
Yeah.
yeah, just not savvy enough. Not didn't have that street cred at the time.
Yeah.
Now I would totally be able to get away with it.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. But yeah,
Yeah.
so another like pretty, street savvy stuff that you did. Like you broke your hand once. How did you remember how you broke your hand? You're not supposed to drop names. Don't drop names. Oh my god.
You can edit it out.
No, I don't want to
Um,
edit things. This is very natural. Don't drop names.
yeah, no, you know what it is. We used to send notes back and forth in class, and she's like, "I have a friend that thinks you're cute," and then she ended up being the friend, being the well, she was just talking about herself, and so we hung out a little bit and this and that, and then it didn't work out, and it was always the thing when you're a tough guy to punch a locker, punch a wall a little bit, just kind of, and so she was like, "Yeah, this we're not." She sent me a note that was like, I don't think we're gonna hang out or do anything anymore," and so I gave the concrete wall that faced our high school soccer field a good 1-2 combination, pretty much as hard as I could.
This is a brick wall now. Brick
This no,
wall.
this like yeah, that's brick. Yeah, it's pretty solid. I remember our other friend Anthony was like, "Did you think that shit was gonna move?" Um, yeah, it didn't hurt until they set the bone. That was the only thing I remember that hurt about that. That hurt like a mofo. That was I think about it and I still am like, okay, I don't want to ever break a bone again.
Mm.
There's probably other things that could hurt worse, but anyway, good old yeah. Um, but man, I've always been a boob man. So even in high school,
So I know you weren't, the most charming person to like have game to ask girls out and things like that. Did you think that you were gonna have sex in the early years, or like when did you think that you were going to have sex?
I ask myself that. It's still to this day. When is it coming next? Um, no, I think it was not in the cards for any of us at an early age. None of us had game, yourself included.
Yeah.
Um, Oscar had the
Oscar,
most
what,
game
14,
out
14
of
years?
all of us.
Yeah, he started in 14. You know, he had.
Yeah, and it probably helped that he had a beard at
He,
14.
that's a funny thing because I mentioned that too in this podcast. Yeah.
Yeah, he had the Razor Ramon chest hair
Yeah.
poking out. Even if it was like a turtleneck, there was still a little chest hair poking out.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, but yeah, I didn't have any aspirations of a great sex life at an early age. And then even when I became an adult, I realized you can't put the pea on a pedestal.
Mm-hmm.
It'll change the way you act around it, and live a little, have a little experience, and things will usually work out.
So
I've got no complaints.
so to give credit where it's due, do you think you should thank someone for losing your virginity?
If you're talking about somebody else that will go remain nameless, um, yeah, but that's what you're supposed to do
No, no, no.
when
But
you're
what I'm saying is, what I'm
coming
saying,
up.
do you think that what I say credit is due is I'm talking about myself because I want to, give credit to myself for like making you lose your virginity. You think I was part of that key?
Oh, for sure.
Okay, okay. I just wanted to make sure to let people know that
No,
I'm the
no.
one.
I think
Okay.
I mean you know what it is
Yeah.
with an ex girlfriend that you had, and then
Mm-hmm.
somebody else that was in the picture.
No name
Yeah,
dropping. No name
but
dropping.
that's how it should happen,
Okay.
man.
Okay.
Your friends.
But do you think that do you think that happened early? Like for me, like to be honest, like I thought I lost my virginity too young. I think like I didn't expect it to, but it happened. Do you think that it happened to you early also, or do you think that it was the right timing, or could have waited a little bit longer, or what?
It is what it is, man. I don't know if there's any such. I think there can be too early.
Mm-hmm.
Um, God knows there could be what seems like too late too, but
Yeah.
it is what it is. I think just don't get anybody pregnant at a young age.
Okay.
And I don't know what was it, 20? I mean that's
Oh, 18, 18, 18.
you were 18.
I was 18. Yeah.
Oh, I think I was probably closer to
Yeah,
19
yeah,
or
yeah,
20.
yeah.
So
You're right behind me. So, well, that sounded a little bit
yeah, no,
sexual, but
I mean
yeah.
I always think of that as it took a while. I mean, I remember you never know if people are full of shit in middle school, but I remember in middle school people would talk about
Yeah.
you know having had sex over the weekend or this and that
Mhm.
when you're in the line for freaking PE. And it's funny now because I've got a daughter that's in high school,
Yeah.
and I started to think about this when she was in middle school. It's like, man, people her age, and I see what those kids look like, and I wonder if they're doing the same thing. Or
Do you have the do you have the relationship with your daughter to talk about those things, or still like not proper yet?
I'd like to think we can talk about it,
Okay.
but I'm not going to kid myself that some things she's going to just experiment and experience on her own,
Mm-hmm.
and maybe find out after the fact, maybe even years after it happens. But she's got to live her life, and all I can do is try to plant little seeds of responsibility and give her some of my own experience.
And what's the advice
Hope
that you would give her?
um, just don't ever get pressured into anything.
Okay.
Just you don't don't go with the flow just because you want to please somebody else. Um, shit, I don't know. Wasn't prepared to like talk about fatherly advice, but just don't do anything you're gonna. I don't know. We all have regrets, but
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I don't think she's had guys that she's had crushes on and whatnot, but I don't think it's there yet. It's soon.
Okay.
Soon I'll have to. These are things I'll have to
So
think about and
she hasn't
worry
had a
about.
relationship yet. She didn't have a boyfriend yet, right?
No,
Okay.
I think she just had crushes.
Precious. Okay.
Um, so she's got a dog. So that's her companion for
Okay.
right now,
Okay.
and she's got some friends that she hangs out with, and I don't know. I don't try not to think about. I'm aware that it's a thing,
Mm-hmm.
and it's quickly becoming a bigger thing. Um, as she's 14 now, so
Yeah.
I don't know. She could be doing it. I don't know. I'm gonna my only hope is that use protection, be safe, don't do anything that's gonna, you know, life is hard, childhood's hard.
Do you think it's
Teen-
easier? Do you think it's easier just to come out and talk to her about that before that it happens, and it's oh you should have talked to me before. So I mean, is there like a right time that you should just be like, hey, you're getting to an age that you'll have relationship, and just straight up tell her, or you're waiting for her to talk to her mom about this? Like, is it something that you should bring it up first, or
Well, I try to always plant, like, be preemptive with my wisdom that whatever wisdom that I have
okay,
to offer her. Um, I don't want her to experience things that I experienced, and just, I want to add perspective. That the fact that school is hard, um, that being a teenager is hard, but it's all natural, it's all normal. Everybody feels the same way, where everybody goes through the same things, um, and I don't know, just in natural conversation. Whenever I feel like there's an opportunity, I'll I'll tell her a story about my youth, or something that I experienced, and just hope that she can be like, oh, okay, so she knows, like, everybody does goofy things, and everybody's worried about a face full of zits, and
yeah,
or an embarrassing thing that happens, and it's like, look, you're gonna be your own worst critic, or you're gonna notice things, you're gonna not like things about yourself that other people don't even notice, but you is the biggest thing. And as you get a little older, you realize nobody cared, and you become comfortable in your own skin, and that's part of just growing up and maturing a little bit. And so I just try to be honest, not necessarily a friend, because I want to steer her in the right direction,
mm-hmm.
but just talk about my own experiences a little bit. Like I said, not just try to be it's natural when we're talking about how school is going, and when it's like, it reminds me of, like, I talk about you, and they're like, oh, did you and Sung used to do this or talk about this?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Me and Sung used to go to Vegas. That's the thing that they always give me a card by. Oh, did you do that with Vegas? In Vegas with Sung? I say, yeah, pretty much. Standing by watching him play craps. You know.
The Reno trips are the more memorable for me. I remember like the trips that we used to go, and then I sort of like bribe you. I'm like, hey, I'll buy you a box of Bowman Chrome. Let's go to Reno. And you're like, oh, okay. And then you would like, I'll bribe you to do it, and then I'll buy you a box. And this was like 98 Bowman Chrome, I believe.
Yeah, how to get the Ruben Mateos,
Yeah, Ruben
future Hall of
Mateos.
Famer.
Yeah. So I'll buy him a box, and I will pay him. Pretty much, I'm paying him to drive to Reno, and which is like a 3.5 hour, 4 hour drive. And we'll go there, and then I'll just go and play. And then sometimes, like I think we went to one time that it was like sold out, like everywhere was sold out. I forgot what day it was, like 4th of July or something. Was it 4th of
No, it was
July or
Valentine's
is it
Day,
Valentine's Day? Okay,
because it was freezing.
freezing. That's right. Yeah, it was in the wintertime. So we got there, and then I was like, okay, let me see if I can get a room, and it was all sold out. So I was like, oh crap. So he ended up sleeping in the car while I'm going out and gambling, and I ended up playing like video poker, and I hit a jackpot for like $1,000, whatever. So I'm like, okay, I hit that. Let's go. So I went back and then went to the car. So okay, let's go back. And then he was like all tired and stuff. And then going back, I'm like, dude, like 1 day trip is so hard, especially it's like what 2 a.m. in the morning, right? 2 3 a.m. in the morning. We're like, oh my god. And I was like, okay, we're never gonna do this again. So we learned that lesson. I was like, okay, never again, never again to do that.
Yeah, that we weren't ready for the. I think it was the icy roads.
Yeah.
We got up there, and it's Valentine's Day weekend. We get up
Mhm.
there like 3 4 a.m. and I'm like, fuck this, I'm tired. So I
Yeah.
went to sleep in the car. And
Yeah.
it's freezing.
Yeah.
You go in and play, and we go to breakfast, look for a room,
Mhm.
and then
Yeah.
nothing's available, and just drive back.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've told that story a few times.
Yeah.
That was
That's pretty epic. And I was like, oh my god, I can't believe we did that. I'm like, okay, go and do it when we're young. Can't do it when we're older now, and have a little bit more planning, because it was always. I mean, the situation was like always like spontaneous. Hey, let's go. Like, let's do it. Let's go, and then we'll
yeah.
go and do it. But that time was a bad timing, and I was like, okay, well, hopefully we don't have to do no bad timing anymore. But yeah, that was pretty fun. If you had to tell yourself like obviously we can't tell the future. I mean, to our past, but if you had to tell the 70-year-old Doug right now, what would you tell him?
Try not to get caught masturbating so much, buddy.
Wait, what do you mean by that? Like, how many times did you get caught?
It's only you can count them on. No, it's not. I would tell myself, don't worry so much.
Okay.
Like everything's gonna work out.
Okay.
Not that I was ever worried, but
Hmm.
uh, you know, it takes a while for you to find your rhythm in life. And as as much as I love my kids, I wouldn't have. Not a marriage I like to think about. So
Hmm.
I'd say watch out for people you went to school with. It's, man, that's my Achilles heel. Is chicks I go to school with. Broken hand, broken bank account,
Broken heart.
broken heart.
Uh,
No, but things work out, and you know,
you, so people say this, like, oh, what's the one thing that you would change? And a lot of people will say, I don't want to change anything because if I change something, I would not be where I'm at right now. So without saying that, what's the one thing that you would think that you would have changed or did something different?
honestly, I think I would have tried to, because like you said, played a lot of basketball, but
Mm.
ate my diet was crappy.
Yeah.
And as soon as you get into your 30s, you can't do that. You can't. Your body
Mm.
won't sustain it anymore. You'll add that weight. You remember what a big guy was. I'm still kind of big now.
Yeah.
I would have maintained much better uh, fitness,
Mm.
kept myself much physically healthier than I did. Um, I think there's definitely a strong connection between your physical health and your mental health,
Yeah.
your confidence, and just good for your self esteem. Your translates into your career, your relationships. Um, it's a big deal, and I think I took. You don't realize it until you start to feel better. Um, how much it can affect you. Just so, yeah, I want to keep fit or get fit or not let myself get fat. So, and then I would have told myself, enjoy the hair while you have it, even though you don't think it's a goofy ass color.
Yeah.
Enjoy that shit.
Yeah.
It's leaving soon, bro.
Not for me, dude. I still got a whole like my
My
hair.
dad's got a full head of hair.
Yeah. Maybe a grandpa because he usually skips a generation.
I know he had like the Bill Murray, on the
Okay.
sides, but
Okay.
just redheads,
I guess
less hair follicles. I've heard.
that's crazy. So like speaking of your health and things like that, like I want to be like 100% truthful and like honestly, like I don't know, maybe I should have pushed you back when you're younger, but like you like seriously had really good basketball and baseball skills. I have to say, like I think you could have legit been like I don't want to say like to the pros, but at least to like the collegiate level or like minor leagues in like baseball or like college basketball, even like a junior college basketball skill level. And I think that if you would have had, so I'm going back telling your old self like, hey, if you would have stopped eating the tortinos and the pizza rolls and got yourself in shape and do go to school and do this, I think you could have really made it. I think you could have really, because all the people that we played basketball with and you do it, and you were like always dominate. Your jump shots was great. Your jump hook was great. Your your ball handling skill was great, and then your baseball skills, your fielding was wonderful, your hitting was great. I think that I sort of feel bad for myself, like because I saw that back in the day, and I sort of didn't want like not the person be like, hey Doug, you should really try something because we're young, we don't know, but back now looking back in the day now we're like I was like God, like if Doug actually gave had some effort and had push to want to go to school and want to participate in a team and things like that, I think you would have made it. You would have had a baseball card. You would have had a baseball card. I mean, not basketball card, no, but baseball card because you'd be like in the minor leagues, those pro debut cards or something. And they'd be like, oh, Doug's cards here. We could have saw it. I mean, it could have been a good potential of you.
Could hit a lot better, So I was never anything to write home about. But you never know.
But you never got the proper training though. That's what I'm trying to say. Like if you got the proper training, the proper amount of games and play, I really think that you had that factor of like if it was a little bit extra push or extra practice, I think you would have got there.
It was always just something to do.
Mm-hmm.
I enjoyed it, but it wasn't until we got out of high school
Mm-hmm.
that it became like, man, I just want to shag fly balls.
Mm-hmm.
Let's
Yeah.
just go to the park and
Yeah.
take turns hitting grounders to each other.
Exactly.
But I never wanted to do that when it would have mattered.
Mattered exactly. That's what I was trying to say. Because they were doing that after the fact, and it's like, oh, now it's like sort of like too late, to push yourself to get there. But I think if you had the motivation or some kind of inspiration to do that when you're younger, 14 years old, 13 years old, I think you could have been one of those guys could have made it. But
Yeah, but basketball would have never been my sport. I mean, I enjoyed it more,
mm-hmm.
but baseball is what I would have had to have stuck with,
Yeah.
just for a guy my size.
But you weren't big
Which
back
I'm
then.
five.
We get to remember.
No, but I'm 5'10", and
Yeah.
I'm not anything more than just average athletically. So
Tell that to
I
Larry
would have had
Bird.
no chance in basketball.
Yeah, tell that to
It's
Larry
because
Bird.
yeah, but what was Larry Bird, 6'7",
Well, but
6'8", 6'9"?
he's a shooter. I mean, just
Tim Legler at
Tim
best.
Legler. Okay, Tim Legler's actually a very good
But playing
comparison.
basketball took me away from baseball.
Yeah, true.
So, you never know. Can't
Yeah, can't dwell
can't
really on the
dwell on
past.
it too much. End up like Al Bundy.
Yeah.
And let's see, what else?
What
I was
a-
late to the party.
What about movies? Have you watched any? Have you watched Star Wars? Star Wars Mandalorian? You're into that?
I've seen the first 5 or 6 episodes.
Mhm.
It's okay.
You're not a big Star Wars fan, right?
Like everybody, it used to be. It used to be good.
Mhm.
I so the original 3 obviously great. The prequels not so good.
Yeah.
And the newer movies, The Force Awakens, solid,
Mhm.
good foundation to build upon with new characters. What was the middle movie? The middle Star Wars with Luke space ghosting
Mhm.
and stuff. Yeah, I
You
couldn't
lost
stand
it,
it.
yeah.
Didn't dig Rogue One.
Rogue
Didn't
One
dig
was,
that.
Rogue One was actually very underrated. I really love Rogue One actually.
I haven't even seen Solo. I have no desire to see this newest one. Yeah, I'm kind of over it. I don't think I think it's evident that they don't have any cohesive idea
Mhm.
over there of what story they want to tell, and so I'm done. I'm not interested anymore.
Okay.
I don't want to just be a slave to the product because of what the original 3 movies were. I don't think there's been a great Star Wars movie in, geez, almost 40 years. So, what about you? What's the last movie you watched?
Um, I watched the Scarlett Johansson movie, The Marriage something that had like a lot of Oscars, whatever.
Oh,
So I wanted to check that out to see why, because a lot of the Oscar movies are like, Academy Awards and global, Golden Globes. They always bring these movies that you never heard of, and then, Marriage Story. That was what it's called. Yeah, Marriage Story. So I'm like, let
yeah.
me check it out, because Kylo Ren's in it. I'm like, all right, let's check out his acting besides, being Kylo Ren, and I watch it. I'm like, yeah, this movie freaking sucks balls. Like, it's terrible. Like, I don't know why. Like, they got all these nominations and things like that, and I'm like, man, like I don't know. I think like Academy Awards and Golden Globes, I think they get paid off by like, I don't know, some like companies and stuff like that. Hey, some of these movies needs to be, watch again, get some hype. It's like pretty much like paid off. I think because like a lot of times when you hear all this like picture winner, you're like no one's seen it, and then they bring it back into theaters and get some more sales. I think it's really like a bribe to these, whoever is nominating these people or the movies to do that. I think it's a big conspiracy. They're like, milk is bad for you, so.
Milk is bad for you. But yeah, I don't know. I think it's more than just a formula that that they appreciate for whatever reason. I haven't seen it, so but I know the type of movies you're talking about that
Yeah.
are more. Uh, they kind of follow that the typical, um, you know, old timey in English, King's Speech type of stuff. Um, and I haven't seen the King's Speech,
Yeah, exactly.
but yeah, I haven't seen that one, even though I do think Kylo Ren's a good actor.
I just can't do it. Like Kylo Ren is like those type of actors that you see him in one movie, you're like, yeah, he's Kylo Ren. I mean, I just can't picture him in another role. I just can't. And when he talks, when he talks in the movie, you're like, oh, is he gonna fucking use his Jedi or his dark side and choke the bitch out or something like that? No, it's just so weird. I just there's several actors and actresses like that you're like, yeah, they just can't do other roles. It's just hard to picture them.
No, I've seen him in a few things, Adam Driver, and he's a really good actor. He's the only reason that actually makes me want to watch anything Star Wars related. But ultimately, I'm just not interested in the movies. But he's solid.
Okay.
I don't remember the names of any. There's nothing that I would um, that I think is a classic or anything. But he's a good actor. Have you seen? Speaking of Scarlett Johansson, Under the Skin?
No, I have not. I heard that was pretty good.
It's definitely worth checking out. I don't know if you would like it
Hmm.
with your personality, but
Yeah.
it's eerie and dark,
Oh, okay.
which is kind of up my alley, and it's got a great soundtrack. Um, as far as it's one of the few movies that when I notice the music and it just perfectly suits what the scenes that are going on. That's worth checking out.
Okay. So, what is your, if you had to say it right now, if you had to, someone asked you, or I'm asking you, it's like your favorite top three movies. What would be your top three movies?
It's funny. I don't know if it's changed because when somebody asks me, it's like the same ones always come up in my head, and I think it's gosh, Good Will Hunting always pops in my head,
Okay.
even though I wouldn't necessarily think of that as my favorite movie. Um, it's good. It's really good.
Hmm.
The Departed,
Okay.
it's fantastic. Uh, the Departed for me has what I live for, or I want from a movie. Give me a scene or give me a shocking moment that makes me stop breathing for a second. Like in The Departed, when the elevator opens
Hmm.
and Leo gets shot in the head, you don't see it coming,
Yeah.
and your jaw drops. That's what I want from a movie. I want something that catches me so off guard
Yeah.
um, that my heart skips. Um, oh boy. Then it's kind of I don't know, other movies that come
So Good Will
right.
Hunting would be your number one. Departed would be number two. Is that what you're saying right now?
Well, I probably have to think about it. There might even be something that it's just.
Well, if you have to think about it, that means it's not your favorite movie. That's how it is. So Good Will Hunting and Departed is your top two.
I think it's because I've seen those ones so much
Uh huh.
that it's Rounders is another one. I've seen
Okay.
it so many times.
Okay.
Uh, it's just embedded in like it's one of the first movies I think of. Um, but sure, yeah, that's my list.
Okay.
You go with it.
And where does Shawshank Redemption rank?
I mean it's good, but
Yeah,
man,
not
for
top.
some reason Asians always love the Shawshank Redemption.
Why is it just eight? No, dude, I know a lot of non-Asians that love Shawshank.
Oh man, I don't know when people used to have their Zanga page and here's my top
Sing,
favorite movies.
Singa
It says,
Page. Oh my God, that's straight up old school right there.
That's right. Since you and I are friends, I had access to a lot of other Asian like social media friends,
Hmm.
and everybody loves Shawshank Redemption. It's really good.
Hmm.
Um, I think I don't know. I think the movies that stick with me are a little more darker. Um, or something that maybe is a little less mainstream with something that's like
Mm.
that popular, it kind of loses its luster
Have you
to
seen
me for some reason.
Have you seen Joker yet?
Yeah, that's really
Okay,
good.
so I think yeah. So I was like thinking when you keep on saying yeah darker, I'm like yeah you must love Joker. That's probably like one of your favorite movies, probably.
I've just seen it the one time, and I'll watch it again for sure.
Mm.
But yeah, no, really good. I mean, Joaquin Phoenix is phenomenal.
Yeah.
Um, there's not. I feel like what can I say that hasn't been said about the Joker?
Yeah.
No, it was freaking good. It was as good as I was hoping it would be. Um, but I don't know. I like something that makes me feel a little like unhappy. Like there's not me unhappy,
Melodrama type of movies or
but
what?
something that I don't necessarily want or need the happy ending. Um, something that just
Dude,
is.
you need to watch some Korean movies then, dude. If you watch some of these Korean dramas, the melodramas, dude, like no happy ending. Everybody dies.
I can't stand Koreans that dye their hair blonde. If there's any of those guys, I'm out.
Yeah, okay. There are not. There's usually it's just the wife dies or the husband dies all the time. It's so sad. Like like watching those movies, like oh my god, I don't like watching those movies because it's too dramatically, like super sad. So
Yeah, well, that sucks.
yeah. Have you seen Sleepless in Seattle?
Yeah, of course.
Do you remember that movie?
Yeah,
I
I
should.
always I always think I'm watching You've Got Mail, but it turns out to be Sleeps in Seattle. Yeah,
I did
I
the
never know
math.
what movie I'm watching. I just
Yes.
know when it's Castaway.
Yeah, so like my first, I guess my first starting a podcast, I just like talking about because I moved to Seattle and the movie Sleep is in Seattle like always comes to my mind and I like romantic movies, romantic happy ending movies, right? And then I'm like, yeah, since I'm moving here, there's gonna be some stuff that I might recognize again. And I remember back when I first watched it in the '90s, I'm like, oh, this is like a wonderful movie. This movie and You Got Mail, all these like happy movies. I like romantic movies. I loved it. So I went back. I'm like, okay, let me watch this movie again. I'm like, oh my god, this fucking movie sucks, dude. It's so terrible. Like the Meg Ryan chick is freaking psycho. She's a straight up stalker, straight up stalking, Tom Hanks' character and, like trying to see what's going on and stuff like that. And like, it's like, I was like, wow, this movie is really bad. Like going back to these old movies again, you rewatch it, you're like, wow, like you thought it was good and you watch it again, you're like, dude, it's pretty bad. Like how, is there any movies that you thought it was good when you first saw it and you watched it again, you're like, oh man, it really sucks.
Oh man, probably like most movies. I mean, what you think is cool as a kid never lives up.
Mm.
Um, I don't know. I think you know. So on a related note, I recently just got back into comic books,
Okay.
and I don't know that we ever hung out when I did comic books because I had a collection that I
Mm-hmm.
sold.
Mm-hmm.
I responded to an ad in the newspaper, somebody buying comics, and I was like, "Yeah, I'm 16 years old. I'll sell my comics." So this guy came over, sold everything I had for $100,
Wow.
and as it turns out, I had like first appearances of Venom and a lot of good stuff because this was like from 85, 86 to like the early 90s or around 1990 or 91, and but a few months ago, I don't know, it's just fun to kind of read the stuff
Mm-hmm.
that I was into as a kid. And some of it's like some of it's corny, some of it is more just nostalgic as I'm middle aged and trying to recapture my youth. But figure it's cheaper to buy a few comics than getting a Harley. So now that the movies are as popular as they are, it's fun to
Yeah.
to try to see which play the spec game as they call it, and pick up some comics on.
Yeah, comics did make a little comeback when all the Marvel stuff, the Avengers stuff came back, and the Spider Mans and the Venom stuff started coming back. I remember I owned a couple Venom number ones, back in the day, and now they're actually worth pretty good amount of money now. I'm like,
Yeah.
yeah, I was like, wow. So,
Yeah, I had Giant Size X-Men #1,
mm,
which was in pretty good condition too at the time, which is one of the major X-Men. It's not the very first one, but it's the one that introduces Wolverine as part of the team,
mm,
and first appearance of a lot of characters, and just everything was just boom on my boxes. Yeah, here you go. So I can have $100 as a 16-year-old.
you're like, ooh, $100, and then you realize, wait, I
Yeah,
spent like $500 on all these comic books, and I'm losing money. It's like, how is that supposed to work out?
yeah, yeah. You don't think about it like that because when
Yeah,
I was a kid, it's
yeah,
just was something that my mom would take us to the comic book shop when
yeah,
there actually used to be a bunch of comic book shops uh, in this in where is it, San Jose, I guess.
yeah, yeah.
And they just my mom would always pay for it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I would just have they set aside like all the X-Men and all the Spider-Man and Punisher and Daredevil. Always a Marvel guy,
Yeah.
even though I'd like Batman movies and DC movies, not necessarily all of them because some of them are pretty shitty the last few years,
Yeah.
but just a Marvel Comics guy.
That is so weird, like how it is like that. It's like, people, you're DC or Marvel. And for me, it's like, I actually enjoy watching, Batman and Superman and stuff, and, the Avengers and stuff like that. So, but I guess that if you're like a hardcore, comic guy, you have to decide one or the other. It's like, choosing, what do you call it? Like Star Wars or Star Trek type of deal. You just can't have a dual, like, allegiance to it. So
Or being a Giants and an A's fan.
that's another one. Giants and Ace fan, Raiders and Niners fan, Jets and Giants fan, stuff like that, So,
Yeah, pick one.
yeah,
Pick one and ride.
yeah. Another big one's like the Mets and the Yankees. Yeah, that's a pretty
Oh
crazy
yeah,
one too.
White Sox and Cubs.
Yeah, yeah. There's a lot of, two
Yeah.
two city teams that there is there. So I know you. Are you still following sports? Are you still following basketball and baseball, things like that, or are you sort of like falling back?
Yeah, I don't know that I've ever shared this with you, but I've become a Niner fan over the years.
Okay.
I think KMBR's indoctrination
Uh huh.
of 49er coverage, and aside from whatever couple years in the 90s when I was an Oiler fan, because I played Tecmo Super Bowl with the Oilers,
Okay.
um, yeah, I guess I'm a Niner fan now.
I guess I'm a
Um,
Niners fan right now.
um, but, I think when they have likable players and like a likable coach, it's easier to follow. In the over the years, if they've got guys that are ego or have egos or are more selfish type of players, or when they had Mike Singletary, and I
Mm-hmm.
just thought he was an incompetent head coach.
Mm-hmm.
I don't mind seeing him lose because it kind of validates my opinion. Um, so we'll see. It definitely. I've been watching every game last this season. Um, so I'm kind of like when the Sharks, when the Stanley Cup playoffs start,
Mm-hmm.
I follow the Sharks.
Okay.
That's the
Okay.
only time I follow the Sharks.
Okay.
So if I'm a bandwagon 49er fan, bandwagon Sharks, yes, I gotta admit it. But this, I've been a Warrior fan since like the late '80s.
Mm-hmm.
So would watch every game, no
Mm-hmm.
matter who's on the team, throughout the '90s, early 2000s, just hoping for the best, and been enjoying the last few years until this year. But we got some positives coming, so I think the Warriors will be okay next year.
Yeah, I think because the Warriors did win 3 championships this past decade, and we went through the struggles with the bad Chris Gatling teams and stuff like that, and now with obviously injuries with Clay and Steph, this like this season is sort of more like, okay, like let's get our guys healthy, let them sit out, and let's just let these scrubs play and do whatever. And it just seems like, for me, like as a Warriors fan, and I just like pretty much wrote off the whole NBA in general. For me, I don't know why. It's just like Warriors are not, it's like Warriors are playing. I say whatever. I just like straight up just threw the NBA out the door. I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna wait until next season. I just like wrote off NBA just into the whole general, because I think I'm like, okay, we don't have the players. It's fine. I'm content with it. I'm fine with it. Just next year when we get Steph and Clay back, now it's gonna be rooting for them again. So sort of weird for me to say that, but that's how I feel right now.
Yeah, I usually will get like the with the NBA League Pass, and I'll watch every game that I can, and
Mm-hmm.
if not, I'll record them. But yeah, this year I don't really have an interest.
Yeah.
I am interested in the development of some of the young guys, so you can kind of say, oh, this guy's going to be a
Mm-hmm.
nice piece
Yeah.
the next few years. But yeah, I've never really, I don't look to see, oh, it's Wednesday, who TNT, oh, it's the Rockets and the Lakers. I really don't, I don't
Yeah.
watch.
Yeah.
I don't watch non-Warrior games. I keep track,
Mm-hmm.
but I don't need to watch, James Harden travel.
5 times.
I live without it.
Yeah.
I know he's going to
Exactly.
score 40,
Yeah. Obviously.
but
Yeah.
he's not going to win. He's not going to win a finals. So
That is true. And then what's the whole talk about Harden coming to the Warriors? Like some guys like, oh, a possibility that Harden might come to the Warriors. It's like, why did they even bring that up?
I haven't heard that. I keep
Yeah.
hearing Ben Simmons and was it Towns Anthony Towns
Yeah. Carl
Towns
Anthony Towns.
Anthony?
Yeah. Carl
Yeah.
Anthony Towns.
But Ben Simmons would be interesting. I can't see them trading him, but
Yeah.
you never know what's going on. I keep seeing at least Facebook articles. So
Yeah.
I do think we need to trade D'Angelo Russell. Him and Steph defensively,
Yeah. Not gonna work.
not a
Yeah.
no.
Yeah.
That's not going to work.
It's the whole Monte
Uh,
Ellis and Steph Curry situation all over again.
yeah, um, offensively, but
Yeah.
overall, yeah, I think we need to trade that big ass contract and get something back.
Yeah. For sure.
Get rid of um, the center who was from the Kings,
Yeah. Willie Cauley-Stein.
Willie Cauley Stein. Yeah, I don't know what he's doing half the time.
He doesn't know what he's doing half the time.
I think you're probably right,
Yeah.
but yeah, we'll see. We'll see how it goes. It's everybody says this is like the Tim Duncan year. David Robinson got hurt.
Yeah.
Let's get a top pick and get
Yeah.
two healthy Hall of Famers back. Um, every few months, I'm good to YouTube Klay Thompson's 37 points in a quarter.
Yeah.
That's just the funnest thing
That is the funniest
to
thing.
revisit once in a while. Just never seen anybody get that hot.
Yeah. He
Well,
was
nobody has. It's
just shooting from
it's a record.
anywhere, any off balance shot, just making every single one. It was just pretty
And
nuts.
and if you play, you know what it feels like. I mean, obviously that takes it to the caliber that you can never really relate to. But when you get hot and you're throwing up shots you shouldn't,
Yeah.
and you get everybody like, oh, and your friends who know you're going to pass you when you're playing with friends. They pass you the ball, and they know you're going to shoot. You know you're going to just shoot as soon as you get it, and you just hopefully it's not too many strangers on your team that get pissed off.
Yeah, exactly.
Leads to fights sometimes.
Yeah, sure. Okay, so we'll wrap this up. Is there anything that you want to say? Any shout outs or anything that you want to plug? That you want to plug?
Yeah, go to my Zanga page. I'm still riding that Zanga shit till I die, baby. No, man, what do I have to fucking plug? Shop at Sprouts.
Okay, Sprouts. There you go.
What do I have?
Okay, tell us about Sprouts. Like, why should we shop there?
It's just a job, man. It pays the bills. It's all right. No complaints.
No complaint, but you're supposed to give them some hype. You're supposed to give some Sprouts some hype here.
Oh, they.
Okay, so we'll edit that part out, so they don't get to say anything about that. So continue on. All right, guys, make sure you hit the like, hit the subscribe. Thank you, Doug, for coming on to the podcast. It was fun. Hopefully, we'll do it again. You guys take care of yourself and peace out.